מעולה, אני גם אעשה אותך host, שיהיה לך גם, make a host. אוקיי. מעולה. Hi guys, welcome. So funny enough, it's just me and Nirit now for this workshop. We did have a workshop earlier today that started at 4:30. Unfortunately, because of wonderful Zoom technical issues, Zoom crashed out of nowhere, and we actually had to stop the workshop in the middle. And we said that we don't want to give up on it because Nirit has a lot of stuff to tell us. So we decided that we were going to do it tonight, just me and Nirit, and she's going to go over the presentation, and then I will send it to all our founders. So that you do get all the practical tips, because we did not want to miss this one out. So first of all, Nirit, thanks for joining. I know you have a crazy day, so I really appreciate you joining. And before we dive in, just so you guys know, Nirit, I've known Nirit since the beginning of Entro. We, StageOne invested in Entro as their seed investor. And they brought Nirit on, I would say, as employee number
8 or 9, if I'm not mistaken, and the first one in the US.
So Nirit was like the first proper marketing person they brought in. And you guys have to understand, when I have questions, I turn to Nirit. Nirit is full of knowledge and full of experience. She has over 25 years of experience in B2B companies. If it's from cyber, IBM, Checkpoint, and now I think holistic cyber as well, correct?
Yeah, before that was the one before Entro.
Right, and right now remember, and you have a lot of global marketing experiences, and marketing is a huge word. I have to say, I think Nirit knows every aspect of marketing back to front. And one of the things we really wanted to discuss was field marketing, because if you do field marketing right, it helps you in so many aspects of the company. It's one of the most, I would say, in my opinion, and I think Nirit's opinion too, one of the most important aspects of marketing when it comes to especially a seed company that's raised seed, and a company that wants to get to new customers. If it's for your presence, if it's for your branding, if it's for customers, if it's for investors, so on. I know that Nirit gives us so many tips, and these tips I've given to founders who don't necessarily have marketing people, and they use it as well. So I'm going to let you dive in directly. Thank you for your time. I will ask questions throughout the session, and I will send it to you guys. And if you have questions afterwards, feel free. We will send them to Nirit by email, and we will get the answers. So
by all means, thank you, Yael, and thank you, everyone. I just want to say, any questions you have whatsoever, if it's this, if it's anything else, do feel free to WhatsApp me or email me, or the StageOne. I'm part of a StageOne community, and I have to say that I reach out to a lot of people on this community, and they reach out to me. So feel free regarding or not even regarding this presentation. So we'll start. I'll just say that what this presentation is not. You're not going to see tables. You're not going to see spreadsheets. You're not going to see percentages of conversion and things like that, which are very, very important. And I have all that information, but I really wanted this presentation to be practical, and talk about the little things that are in between the metrics and the numbers and the KPIs. And again, if you want KPIs and benchmarks for how you measure field marketing, and so we will touch it a little bit, but again, the presentation is not going to be on percentage and KPIs. As we go forward, you'll understand, but any questions you have in that regard, please do feel free. So just to start, what is field marketing? It's actually connecting to your audience face to face. It works very good in high touch, high trust industries like mine, like cyber, or I believe like anyone that StageOne is invested in, any high tech, whether it's the cyber industry or any other industry. I believe that 100% is high touch, high trust. Why do we do it? We do it to generate sales qualified leads, which is a huge problem for startups, especially in the beginning. We want to drive pipeline. We also do it to get visibility and credibility, which falls under the brand awareness. We want to accelerate existing sales cycle. We want to build and nurture our relationships. And also when we go to field marketing events, especially the ones that fall in the bucket of the big bang events that we will go into, I think, next slide almost. We can also have insight and intelligence of what's happening in the industry and our competition as well. And I think that's something that's important to point out. So there are different formats for various field marketing events and different objectives. And as we now go through this slide, it's not black and white, okay? So if we're talking about the big band industry events, these are events that have between 10,000 and 150,000 participants, sometimes even more. And I would say that a big part of the objectives should be brand awareness. I'm here, I'm part of this industry, I have something to say here, and I'm here. That's important. Now, when I say black and white, it doesn't mean that you won't get leads from there. But if you're going to an RSA or a Black Hat, these are big events in mind. If you want to now have 50 leads, not sure you'll get it. It doesn't mean that that's a failure, because you're getting a lot of recognition if your objective is recognition. So the first thing that we're saying here, be very clear on what it is that you want to get. And by the way, sometimes there are surprises even for me, and I'll give that example as we move forward. That's why I say it's not black and white. Regional events, smaller events, 100 to 350 people. The main objective here will be sales qualified leads. In my book, that's meetings with ICP and pipeline. There are events that are speed dating events, which is actually you sit for 20 or 30 minutes with a prospect and you pitch, you know, just like in the good old days before the apps. That's because I'm old. You had speed dating events, physical ones. Not that I participated in one. It always horrified me, but that's the idea, and that's where the name come from. Here, it's really pipeline and SQLs. And when I say not black and white, yes, you're sitting in front of people, and yes, they know that, okay, there is Entro, and this is what Entro does. So yes, there is always an element of brand, but it's mostly pipeline and SQLs. And then the fourth bucket is what I call bon appetit events. It's, you know, everything, breakfast, drinks, dinners. They come in different sizes, different formats. And there it's very important also to say, okay, I'm doing this just for networking and relationship building and maybe strengthen the relationship, or am I doing this to get leads? So it's really important what your objective is, and that bon appetit event will be architected based on your specific objective for it. So these are the main four buckets. So before we dive into each one of the buckets, a lot of time I get the question, okay, why should I sponsor all these, you know, they're taking so much of my money, I'll do this event on my own. So the biggest challenge in each and every event that we're doing, no matter what it is to get the people to come. Anyone who's done field marketing knows that that's also your biggest fear. So, you know, for those of you here that are Israeli, I will always say I have that knot in my stomach before an event starts of a kait shel avia, which is when nobody shows up. And even if you did an amazing job at registration, always know the show rate will be 40 or 50%. So if you want 100 people in your event, you need to have at least 200 that have registered. You can't say, oh, this is great, I have 100 people that registered, because 40 will show up. Now, the bigger the event means that there will be a lot of side events, a lot of other things that you're competing with, and it's harder to get the people. So if you're doing something on your own at a Black Hat, it's going to be very hard to bring people. It's not impossible. I do it all the time. But just know, you want 30 people there, you need to get 60 or 70 registrations. Now, the sponsored events, what are we paying for? We're paying for someone with more resources to bring the people. Now, when you're a young startup, that's just the facts of life. Someone has more power in getting the people. Yael, you wanted to ask something?
No, I think it's a valid point, because I think at the end of the day, and we see this a lot with startups, is that they want to come to the RSA events. And I have another question based on that, but they want to have like a breakfast. And even us as a fund, when we come to these events, we know that there's a lot of huge industry events, and that we're going to have to fight our way in order to get people to come. So what I always say, and I give this as a strong point, and I know we've discussed this before, Because even as a fund, we can take our portfolio companies and do something together. But we need to, I would say, get together a bunch of people who can bring people together. Even now, and I'll give an example, and we're doing it with you guys in Black Hat. We've been doing this event for 3 years in a row. Yes, we're bringing in 3 funds, and each fund has its portfolio, and each portfolio is bringing in its people. Because at the end of the day, it's very hard to bring, especially when you're out of Israel, so many people to an event. I can say that in Israel it's easier. We've done big events in Israel, and I'd say we've had like 75 to 80% show, which is amazing. But I think in the US, especially in these big conferences, and especially if you're a young startup, if you don't, like you said, do it with someone a little bit bigger and more powerful than you just get disappointed in the end.
And I'll just add to that mix, should I do it on my own in the big cities? And I'm going to say, and we're going to go back to cities as we move through the presentation, New York, San Francisco, Boston, even Chicago. They have so many events going on. If you do your own, they need to choose from like 10 different things. Or if it's in New York City, people love New York. And yes, let's do an event in New York. Every single day, your ICP wakes up and says, okay, what event am I going to today? So the competition in the big cities is huge. And this is also a point that we're going to go of. So, I would always say it's okay to do your own event. Just know it's going to be harder. And if you want to get in front of people, you will need to sponsor. So when we're talking about sponsorships, again, not all are the same. We have the big bang industry events. We have regional events. We had speed dating and Let's Eat. We already said them. By the way, most of the pictures that you're going to see here are pictures from Entro's recent events. I wanted this to be as real as possible. So it's also examples of what we did and how we did is, what I'm talking about. So again, big bang industry events. Again, for me, it's RSA, Black Hat, maybe Identiverse. I'm sorry for those who are not in my industry. I'm sure you know by heart the big industry event for you. Again, the objective here, you're going to get a lot of brand recognition. You're going to establish authority. Again, it's not black and white. You will get qualified leads. Okay. So when you go to a big brand event and you're saying, I want people to talk about me. I want people to know me. That's an amazing objective. You will also get meetings. Okay. Now, it's very hard to negotiate with the vendor. I want to point that out. There's nothing you could do. It's like the mob. It's whatever they ask for, they're going to get it. It's hard to negotiate. The price is high. Maybe you can knock off 1,000, I don't know, or maybe you can say, I'll sign the contract, not on the 1st of the month, but on the 4th of the month. But it's very, very hard to negotiate with them as opposed to others that we will talk. That's why I'm pointing it out. Now, you will be around these big events, and this is also something I wanted to put here. You will receive into your email and your LinkedIn offers of people who are offering you a list of attendees. 99%, 99.9%, it's a scam. Don't even go there. When you start to ask these people, and I've done this before, where are you from? They completely disappear and their email is nowhere to be found. So it's a scam. The only people who will offer you lists, and it's not in the big industry event, is the event itself. And again, this is opposed to the smaller events. I'm just putting it out there because a lot of people just fell into that hole many times, and it's important for me to, when you go to these events, you want to appear bigger than you are. You have to execute it and really think of the smallest details. Field marketing is a profession. It's not something you can do on the side. It's not something that you can say, oh, yeah, I'll come, we'll work it out. No, this takes a lot of planning. You have to be bold. You have to make noise. Again, we were talking about brand awareness, brand recognition, and you have to try and have as many add-on events as possible. That's what Yael spoke about. You're going to these big industry events, have a breakfast, have a dinner, whether on your own, whether with your investor, your VC that's now doing it with other companies. You're there, make the best out of it.
I want to point out 2 things here. First of all, I think I agree with you. I think if we're looking at companies, I'll say, which have just raised seed and they don't have big budgets, I think one of the things that maybe you're discussing it down the line is, even if you don't go to an event, make sure, or you don't do an event, make sure to go to events in the industry. Make sure, and I know this is something you guys are very strong with, and I know I'm sure you're talking about it online, but every event you go to, you're branded as who you are, because right now you're just two founders, maybe a few developers. So again, you don't have to do events, I think, when you're super, super early on if you don't have the budget, but go to the events and make sure it's exactly the same as doing all the homework, as knowing which events to go to, which events have the quality leads you're looking for, the right people, because there are so many events. You don't want to end up going to events which are just a waste of time. And another question I wanted to ask you is, what's your opinion? I mean, I know that in some of the Brain conferences, and I know that a few of our startups also like ask us and discuss it. They have all these startup sponsorships, which are 10K, which offer different things. Yes, you don't get maybe as much traffic as you would if you paid the full sponsorship, but it does get you meetings and it does get you, exposure for much less money than 50K, which is a lot of money for a very young startup, which doesn't have right now so much to do. And if you do think it's right to do, what stage is it? Just when you raise seed? Is it when you have when do you propose people do this?
Okay, so again, this is my opinion, and there might be people that will hear this this recording or on the call that disagree. So this is what I think. So first of all, yes, if there's a big event and you don't have money yet and you don't have marketing yet, go there, wear your t-shirts, go to side events, be there, be present. So I completely agree with you. Now okay, let's pay $10,000 for the startup area. I am usually against, because usually it's far away, it's small, it gets lost. Sometimes it's not even all days. Like at RSA, it's not even, or sorry, at Black Hat, it's not even all days of the event. It's like a day and a half or something on some second floor of something. At Black Hat, it will be on the side. So I would say, again, you will get something out of it, but you will be as small as you are. I always say be bigger. So again, my opinion, go your founder, maybe if you have sales or someone else, wear your colors, be proud, do a dinner, do a breakfast, invite the people, be loud on social. That's a big part of it, especially in the beginning. And then again, maybe others would argue, no, we had big success. This is my opinion. Okay. Okay, just a picture how you appear bigger than you are. This is the small booth at RSA. You see how bold we are. I can tell you like a funny story. You see our green t-shirts, like everything is green. You wouldn't believe the fights and the arguments I have with my team is, do I have to wear that green t-shirt? It's so ugly. And to me, guys, I don't care that you think it's ugly. You're not a model now, walking on Vogue. You want people to see you, and this is how they will see you. And that's the message here. You want people to see you. And as you can see, we try to do it in every way. When I say bigger than we are, then you can see we have so much going on. We have in-booth activities. We have competitions. We do a lot of side events. If you can see here, this, by the way, is RSA. And the 1, 2, 3, 4 you see here on the right-hand side, these are all side events. So one is a cocktail, so many side events. So we're trying to be everywhere that we can. Okay, now we're going to move to the regional ones. The regional events, the one that we said, there are 100 to 300 people. Again, someone else is bringing the people, bringing the audience. Here, you can negotiate and what I call squeeze the lemon with the vendor. Negotiate hard. You can negotiate on the price. I can give you examples where the list price was, they'll tell you, oh, it's 30, we're offering you 25. You can close them at 16 or 15 or even less. And if you say, I'm going to do more than one, then you can squeeze the lemon even more. What I'm trying to say here is you can negotiate your way. And it could be thousands and thousands of dollars. Always go for a speaking opportunity. Just taking a booth is not enough, in my opinion, in these small events. Always push in the negotiation, say, I want to see a list from previous events. Now you want to get a feel. You want to, so what you can ask for, you can say, maybe they won't want to give it to you with the name, but say, give me the organization and the role. I want to see if this is my ICP. If they can give you good lists from 2-3 years back, then okay, they know how to bring the right people. They won't offer it, ask for it, ask for it. And then of course, in these events, always negotiate and have it in the contract that you get the list of the participants that were in the event that you sponsored, you get that in the end. That's very important because you can continue to nurture them. You can continue the relationship with them. You can do activities with them and in other marketing tactics, digital, email. Again, we won't go into it, but that's something important. Try to have an add-on activity. Usually these events are a day, you know, they will start at 9, they will end at 4 or 5, add a dinner, add drinks, you know, even people try to do something else to maximize the potential of your FaceTime with the people. And then again, be bold, stand out. There are ways you can do it here as well. So I already mentioned this. So these regional events are everywhere. By the way, you know, I know my industry. Anyone here can reach out and I can give you a list of the vendors. I can even tell you who I think are good, who are not so good, who are terrible. There are so many out there, and I know them all. And they will offer you events all over the US and all over the world for that matter. Okay, our main target audience now is the US, so we were going for the US, and this is just a partial list. And you say, where am I going to choose? So that's the question. Is there a difference between the various cities and the various locations? And now I'm talking about the US, but not only. If we're talking about Europe, do I go only to Berlin or to Munich? Maybe I go somewhere. When I go to the UK, only London? How about Manchester? So what I want to say is, and this might come as a big surprise, and especially, again, Israelis, they say, we'll go to New York, we'll go to San Francisco, we'll go. I have had the best events with return on investment in places like, and these are real examples, Columbus, Ohio, Indianapolis, places where, you know, sometimes even when you're not like local American, you're like, what is it in this place? Like, why should I even be there?
I know, but how did you know to put the money there? At the end of the day, they have to choose from 10 events, they have to choose 3.
Correct. So I want to say something about not the San Franciscos, the Bostons, and the New Yorks of the world. There are huge cities with huge industries and huge Fortune 500 and Fortune 100. You need to check what industry that city is strong for. The people that will come will be much more interested and invested in their day. Because like I said, in New York and Boston and San Francisco and all these, you know, big flashy cities, your ICP, for me, it's a CISO or a decision maker within the cybersecurity space, literally can wake up in the morning and say, okay, what event am I going to today? Or what 2 events am I going out on today? And also, you know, they can come only for an hour and leave. In the other cities, the Columbus, even the Phoenixes, the St. Louis, they come for the full day. They're interested. So again, that's something that people are surprised to hear, and it was important for me to put out there. The way to choose, you just see what industries, what strong industries are there. And that's how you choose. Again, even in the small events, have a theme and make noise. We have something we deal with secrets, and, you know, we have a theme of secret sauce and secret ingredients. And so we do a whole theme around KFC, about the secret ingredients and how it was found in a notebook. Everything connects really well to what it is that we're doing. And once we finish our presentation, there are 2 big buckets of Kentucky Fried Chicken, and just the smell brings the people, and the people make the connection to your presentation. And so again, you need to take this very seriously, even if it's a small little table with your little, you know, tchotchkes and swag. And now I'll tell you a story about a company that I highly respect. It's not from StageOne, and highly respect what they're doing, respect everything about them. And one time I saw one of their founders arrive late, hardly breathing because he missed a flight or something, came all the way from Israel with a box of socks, and only like a table with nothing was waiting for him, and all alone. And he had to manage a table, which he had no idea like what was going on. He had no roll up. He had nothing. And also he was the presenter. Now I'm saying again, I highly respect them, but they didn't give enough thought of how we're going to manage this here. How can he do it all on his own? And how can he do it when with nothing that's making noise, even in this small? So you have to think about these things. That's all I'm trying to say.
I
By
think
the
that's
way,
I know, I think that's a super important point, because at the end of the day, you do have a lot of founders, especially coming from Israel. Now, the flights are super, super, super expensive. The whole thing is super expensive. Um, so I think actually the fact that being creative and doing it small, but it's fine to do small. Like the Kentucky Fried Chicken is brilliant. And guys, today I'm saying I've also done marketing for many years, and I used to do in my previous position, I used to manage marketing for gaming companies, and it was crazy. We used to have unlimited budgets, and I used to do I'll never I these crazy booths, I used to have like a sushi station, like going around with gifts. I used to spend a lot of money, and I used to have smaller events which I didn't spend a lot of money on, but I had to always be super, super creative and think outside the box so that I could get people to my booth. Today in our world, it's even easier. I'm saying, even today, when I need crazy ideas, I use a chat GPT. It's so much easier today, and I'm saying this for young startups. You can be creative. You don't necessarily have to be a marketing person to be creative. There are so many tools today which will help you. And I also have a list of those tools if they need. And even like you said, the Kentucky Fried Chicken is brilliant. I love it. And it's something which people will remember. Okay, people get socks all the time. Socks are great. Love the socks. I always give them to my kids. Um, these don't have to be expensive things. It can be small, but if you're already going and you're spending so much money on the ticket, and you're spending money on the hotels, and you're spending money on a lot of things, do something little which people will remember. And it doesn't have to be something big, it doesn't have to be something expensive. And I think that's a great point. I'm gonna start doing the Kentucky Fried Chicken here. I love it.
and then again on, we just, even a little thing like a tablecloth, okay? Look at the difference. The ugly green, which my whole company was, oh, it's so ugly, it's so ugly. Do you know how much it stands out? You have your logo. I mean, that's a way to stand out. It's like, it's something that you use again and again and again and again. So, don't, sometimes they will say, oh, we have a blue linen tablecloth to give you. I don't care about their blue linen tablecloth. You want to stand out. Have your logo there. So again, a small thing that can make a huge difference. Okay, speed dating events. We said there you would get 10 to 12 qualified meetings. That's what they're going to promise you. You're going to have to work hard to get it. By the way, when I said squeeze the lemon and the vendor, if I've been to a few of these where I didn't get what I wanted and I just didn't pay. So again, we're going to, like, this is what you promised me. None of the people that showed up, or none, or let's say half or whatever, were what you promised me. And it's always stories. Oh, they didn't come, they did come, this guy canceled last minute. Or so again, you have to work really hard that you will talk to the people that you want to talk. But by the way, some of these are great. I'm just giving like examples of where it didn't work and what you should do. Each meeting will be 20 to 30 minutes. The whole day will be a few hours. Sometimes it could be 2 days. If it's 2 days, it'll be more expensive. There will also be like a networking event, so more opportunities to network and relationship, but most of them would be like a day. They go by vertical, they go by role. You receive a list. If you don't go. They are all preset and pre-chosen. That's very important. You don't want to go out there and be surprised. And they will cost, again, 9K, maybe a little less, and they go all the way to 50K, the ones that are 2 days and very flashy and so forth. I will say in their favor that from the flashy ones, and I never paid 50K. Again, like, squeeze the lemon, squeeze the vendor. Don't pay what he's asking. We did get good from that flashy one, the expensive one. We got really good meetings that have converted, and again, so sometimes these could be good. Okay, at the booth. So you can see this picture. And the amount of times that I go to big events, small events, and this is what I'm seeing at the booth is like, it kills me. It really kills me. And I will say something about one of my previous companies that I saw now at a Gartner event. It was Checkpoint. They had a huge booth, which I know they paid just for the real estate, probably $200,000. And there were two people there and they were on their phones. No one was looking at the people passing by. No, it really, like, I just wanted to cry. Now, the amount of times that this is happening is huge. And I've been asked many times, people ask me, so how come we're at the same event and your booth is full of people and everyone is coming and mine is not? Why do you get these great results? So how do we do it right? Have 1 to 2 sales reps or 1 to 2 founders. Like Yael, you said, a founder going on his own, that's a little dangerous. To be in these events with only one person, so many things could go wrong, and it's just not enough to
No,
interact.
you
So
have a point. I would say definitely two people and more. But you're right. I'm saying if there were two founders, it should go both of them and not one.
2 founders, or if you already hired someone in the US or whatever geography is, like a minimum of 2 people. One
Okay.
is standing in front of the booth at all times, not sitting. Like, you see the booth next to me, the 2 people sitting, they were sitting like that all the time. The one that's sitting, I'll tell you who she is in a minute. You have 1 to 2 people. One is always standing outside of the booth and greeting people. Now, when I go to these events, I'm like the bad cop, like, get out of your phone, talk to the people, and you have to have a lot of confidence. Hey, how's it going? Like that, you need to sell. And by the way, good salespeople, they have it in them. That's the art of selling. And so one of them needs to stand outside the booth. Always ask for a speaking slot. Okay, we're now talking about the regional events. To have a speaking slot at the big events is too much money, if you ask me. We bring, and this is something that's working for us amazingly well, an SDR or a BDR, if you have one, to be at the booth. And Peggy, that you see sitting there, she closes meetings at the booth itself. That's her job. Her role is to close as many meetings as possible at the event itself in the calendar. And she's an amazing SDR. She knows the art of selling. And, she will say things like, hey, while you're here, let's put something on the calendar. If you can't make it, then we'll reschedule. And she gets these meetings in. Now, not everyone will show up, but a very big percentage of them will. So that's something that's working extremely well
Are
for
you
us.
talking about meetings within the event itself?
No.
You're
We
talking about
schedule.
after the event,
Yes.
following the
Yeah.
event.
I mean, whatever happens at the event itself, sometimes in those regional events, there's no time.
Got it.
I'm talking about a meeting where someone is now going to get a demo. Like it's getting serious. It's going to
Right.
be a sales qualified lead. There's going to be a meeting, and hopefully it will progress.
I think that's a great point, and I think that at the end of the day, and we're going back to it, you have to come, and I know we're not discussing the KPIs, but you do have, I think every conference has to have, I know, it brings me back to previous events and stuff I've done where they say, events, you don't necessarily get KPIs, it can take a long time to see things out of it, things, and I think that you got to change that
Disagree.
mindset. No, I agree. I'm saying
Yeah.
it's a great branding, and you're right. And it may take, you're right, that you may close someone, a customer that saw you like last year in an event, you may close him next year. That may happen as well. But there are KPIs that you can definitely close. And I think what you're doing now with booking meetings and bringing someone to book and say, we know this conference, we've been here before, we need to book X amount of meetings for after the event. And if we do stand by that, amazing. If we don't, and then you can see if the meetings, of course, are quality meetings or not. But I think the fact that you come with proper KPIs is something which is super important and great point.
So I'll touch KPIs. Maybe I said in the beginning I shouldn't have that. A lot of these presentations are just a conversion, and
Right.
I do have KPIs here, and I can give everyone there a benchmark. My KPIs are extremely challenging, and it's good. And we have, for each and every event, we have exact KPIs. Each and every event we go to, we know how many meetings we want to get, sales qualified meetings. Okay.
Got it.
I'll say something else that might not be popular. I don't care about leads. Like, leads as leads, I don't care about them too much. I think when you measure leads, you have people like standing in the hallway and just scanning everyone with a pulse, just to say, okay, I had a KPI of leads. I like the thing that for field marketing is a sales qualified lead. That means that that's a meeting with someone who is a decision buyer and can buy from you. This is the KPIs that I give myself and my team. So again, we said it, ask for a pre-event registration list. Once you get it, the sales reps reach out via email, LinkedIn, start to create the relationships. It's also very important. Sometimes if we go over the list, we say, out of these 100, there are 10 that I really want to see. We look at their picture. We try to see if there are people that we know that are mutual connections. We try to get to know them before, and even if we can't, and it's just connected on LinkedIn, or even if we just know what he looks like, he or she looks like, we know to approach them because we find them as high potential. After the event, the SDR reach outs, again, no more than after a week. Again, bold, colorful, make noise. And this is for another presentation. We do tons of noise on social before, during, and after. And that's another thing of the recognition. Now, I think I already mentioned it, but one of the big things for me, marketing SDR sales, sometimes I say it's one big happy family. You know, sometimes it's even like, you know, you're a big family, you fight, your brothers and sisters, you fight during the day. In the evening, you sit to dinner together and we all love each other. So, you know, there's always friction between sales and marketing, but in the end, we love each other and we're one big happy family. I always describe it as a relay race. Marketing runs, and then seamlessly relays to sales or to SDR, which runs, and seamlessly. And that way go. And by the way, it goes back to marketing for nurture. So a big thing is creating a close relationship between marketing, SDR, and sales. It doesn't matter if marketing is managing the SDRs or no. During my career, there were times when I was managing them and there were times when sales was managing them. And it didn't matter because I was always staying close. At Checkpoint, at some point, sales was with them. I used to go twice a week and listen to the calls. I used to go twice a week and ask the SDRs for feedback on what they are hearing. That's the way I know how to tweak my messaging at marketing. Was the event good? SDRs have so much information for you. And it's important to stay very, very close to them, whether marketing is managing them, yes or no. Again, one team, one goal. In the end, we're measuring tag campaigns properly in CRM. What is the source? Again, it's a different presentation. Is it attribution? Is it source? For what we're talking about now, I measure two things. One, has the source for this connection been a marketing event, or has the marketing event influenced it in a way? Maybe it's someone that a sales rep met before. Maybe it's someone that was on a webinar before, but then he saw us again at the event and boom, now the meeting has come. So I measure the source and I measure the attribution on the event. The metrics have to be aligned with sales outcomes. Before that, I do all my planning for marketing with sales. They have targets, they have regions. Again, when we said, how do we know where to go? It's based on your targets. Maybe in the very beginning, you're going all over, that's fine, but there has to be a salesperson who will need to follow up on this. And even if it's the founder, then the founder knows that he will need to follow up on leads from this region. So it always, when you choose an event, especially I'm talking about the regional ones, the speed dating ones, the dinner ones, not the big ones, because the big ones come from all over the world. I'm talking about the other three buckets. It's important that if you go to an event, there is someone that will follow up and nurture them, because again, we have very complicated products, platform. It's not you're thirsty, you want a Diet Coke, you buy it. People have to go through a journey. So someone will need to continue and nurture and follow. I wish it was that easy. You're at an event, here's the contract sign, but we know it's not.
I have a question. I don't know if you're gonna have an answer. I don't have the answer for it, but it came to myself. If a founder, and we'll talk about budget in the end, 2 founders to 3 seed have to choose between the bigger events or like regional events have a very small budget, would you suggest, especially in the very beginning, before they have a big team, before they even have like a team, it's just, two founders and their very first, sales, would you suggest them going to the smaller regional ones or going to the bigger ones and meeting as many people as possible? I know there may not be an answer, just from your experience, because at the end of the day, they can't go to everything.
Two
But I know they
founders.
all want to go to the RSAs and, the
Yeah.
AWS.
So again, two founders, very start, no sales team, no SDRs, no one to help carry the load. I would go as a participant to the big ones. I would have meetings. I would go to all the add-on events. I would try to organize a dinner, maybe with another startup. Because again, to be only two founders, especially if they're based in Israel, and run a regional event, who's going to follow up? Like what's going to happen? By the way, if you go to a big event, to an RSA, a Black Hat, or whatever, your industry is, you're not going for a day. Look up what other of these regional events are going on, and you can go to them as a participant as well. Some of them are free without charge. Some of them you can even, so look, here's another trick. Look at the other startups that are sponsoring. Look at the sponsors. Most likely you know someone. You know someone you can ask, hey, Yael, can you get me in? I see you're sponsoring. 99% it will be yes, no problem. So there are ways to get in, and again, maximize your time and your energy. You're already going to the US. You're only two people. What else is going on? But again, if you have to choose, and that's a difficult question, if you don't have a team, if you're very small, maybe go to a big event. Again, it will be there, wear your t-shirts, make noise, be as much meetings as you can, have a dinner. I'm not sure how many really good qualified meetings you're going to get out of it, but you will. We said it's not black and white. To do a regional event, you need you need boots on the ground. Okay, if it's not working, why? One, sales isn't bought in. There's no joint planning. There's no feedback. Again, we said it's one big team. It happens where marketing decides on its own. It's not good. It happens. It happens too much. Events aren't converting. Maybe we're not following well. Maybe we're getting a list. We made the noise. We're not calling back and trying to book meetings. People forget. It's and it takes time that's why I say week max for an SDR to reach out, or even a founder to reach out via LinkedIn. And so, by the way, use LinkedIn a lot. Everyone you meet, I know people aren't, I don't have business cards anymore. Maybe some do. But every time even someone says to me, do you have a business card? I can say, hey, let's do LinkedIn. So I would also do that trick. The business card, it'll find its way to the corner of your
I
desk.
feel like business cards are just like so 2000. I mean, we have them. I've never like taken them to a conference in my
Yeah,
life,
but
but
you'd be surprised how many people ask me, do you have a business card? So I
no,
guess,
but
yeah,
maybe because then it's, I don't know.
yeah.
Because when you do your LinkedIn and you scan it and you do your profile, you don't necessarily remember who you've met. But I'm sure there's a better way and a more creative way to like some kind of thing where you can take there are huge online businesses businesses which do like online business cards. But interesting
Yeah.
thing to think about it.
Okay, no attribution, like we see, okay, nothing's happening. So again, you have to, from the very beginning, and I'm sure that everyone is using a HubSpot, okay? Even if it's the very basic startup subscription, you can still really manage and track everything that you're doing. And it's so, so, so important. So please do it. And then another big mistake is that everything feels like one side. We're doing the same. We're going to a regional event in Columbus. We're going to RSA, and everything is the same. No. Different events, different people, different target audience, different competition, different noise. You have to architect what you're doing to the specific event. Many times we're just doing the same thing everywhere, and that's a mistake. Now, you know, I'm going to give a little bit of KPIs. So, you know, results. Did I do a good job? By the way, this is a picture of me the day I left Checkpoint. You can see how many events I'd been at. I was cleaning out my office, you know, field marketing has been a very big part of everything that I do. And I think, you know, the first slide was, it's like the oldest trick in the book. It's been around forever. Some people said it's dead. Digital came in. I'm telling you, it's coming back. I was just on a call. This is a deja vu to the 90s. Maybe some of you weren't even born. But when like digital is getting so expensive, we won't go into this. SEO is changing into GEO. We won't be able, things aren't going to be crawlers. We won't get into it, but events, it's already back big time, and it's going to be even more. I won't say the sentence, don't, if you have less than $50,000 a month, don't invest in PPC. If you want, we can talk about that in another workshop. But again, events are now, for me, they are the lead gen #1 marketing tactic.
I
Okay.
do want to add a point where you may discuss it afterwards, but just as a marketing budget, how much percentage would you put in field marketing?
So it really depends. It depends, and there's not one answer. So on the first year, by the way, I thought it was I know now it was a mistake when we said we just need to feed the very, very hungry sales funnel. We are only going to events where we can generate sales qualified leads. We're not going to do anything in the big events. And when I say anything, it's a mistake, because the founders always went to the event. I'm US based. I went to the event, the things we talked about in the beginning, but we didn't sponsor, we didn't spend money. We spent money. Again, it changes over the years, because, you know, digital was different. We put in digital. I would say of the marketing budget, and I'm taking out salaries, just the expenses on marketing. When you have boots on the ground, at least 50%, at least. Again, you need to feed the funnel. And you know what? Today, even more, digital is like only if you're very rich, you can get something out of it, and it's very top of funnel. Today, I would say even more. If we're doing it for brand recognition, if we're doing it to leads, and like we said, events, they're not coming back because they're already back. So a lot of the marketing budget, I think, needs to go into that today. You know, did I do a good job as a marketing person? I want to show that I impacted the pipeline and the revenue. With sales cycles that are long, that's a little hard, because if a sales cycle is 6 and 9 and sometimes 12 months, you will not see the revenue line for a long time. So it's like a rolling kind of target. If you've been doing this for, again, and there's no one answer, because it depends really on the sales cycle. So that's why short term, and you can see I put it in purple, what I'm measuring short term, I want a 5 to 10 return on investment in the pipeline value. So if I paid $10,000 for the event, I want to see opportunities at least, I mean, I'm not even saying 5, I'm going for the 10. We want to see really a return on investment in the pipeline value. Is the pipeline, how much X is it more than what you put into the event? Another thing that I'm measuring, and then again, it's not exactly, again, it's very hard to like revenue. You're going to see the revenue in a year sometimes. Short-term meetings on regional events, I want at least 15 to 20 meetings. These are ICP meetings. These are people that, by the way, I get more meetings. I get meetings from people, sometimes at the events, people say, oh, can I see a demo? And you know this person will never buy. It's a good meeting, because maybe someone on his team will buy, and maybe he will be a decision maker tomorrow. You don't know that, but I don't count it. I'm only counting the 15 to 20 meetings are the ones that can convert. They're the people who can make the decision regarding my platform. In big bag events, for me at this point now, it's 30 to 40. When we were younger and small, and when we started, it was let's get 15 good events from 3 people walking around RSA, which by the way is a lot as well. It's very challenging. And you know, like I said, the one loss, the sales cycle is long and there are so many others involved. So, you know, we said there's always friction between sales and marketing. One of the big things is, okay, I only measure marketing if we have one. And to me, I say that's unfair. Where is the sales part of it? Maybe marketing did an amazing job, brought amazing sales qualified leads, and we have a terrible salesperson who doesn't know how to close it. How is that marketing's fault? We won't go into it again, another different workshop, but there are things that you can measure short term, and that's what we do. So that's it, I guess.
I think that was super helpful and practical. Thank you very much.
And then again, benchmarks, KPIs, various vendors, just really reach out to me. I have lists of everyone. Everything is there. I really wanted, based on questions that I get from the StageOne community and others, I thought to be more like practical and talk about the things that usually people don't talk about.
No, I agree. And I think that, again, we did have people in the workshop, but I think we would have had more questions from the audience, but I'll definitely send this. Look, I think if you're given practical tips, I do agree 100% that events are back and strong, and they're coming back even more. I find it like, I remember we saw this hype after COVID when people like needed to get out, but I think especially today, you're right, the digital is completely changing, so is SEO. And yes, events are big and people are going around the world to events, and it's super important. And I think at the end of the day, if founders need to take, you know, one thing from what you've taught us, to really find the events that work for you and to really maximize them as much as you can be and be creative. I think even founders, especially two founders, you don't have a marketing person yet, you don't have a marketing team, it's fine. There are so many ways to still be creative and have people remember you from the beginning. I remember one important tip that you told me is that even when you were super small, Itzik used to go everywhere with the bright green shirt and Entro on. Before you had like loads and loads of customers. And it's something that not only your customers, but investors remember. You'll always remember, even if your logo is super boring and blue, find a crazy blue color it's in these small little things and people will remember it. And the founder has to wear the t-shirts and he has to be, everyone says it's just a t-shirt, but no, it's not just a t-shirt because everyone remembers Itzik, the investor, the founder, the investor, the customer, the service provider that he met at the event. So, and you have to be out there, especially if it's just the two founders at the beginning. And even if you're super technical, you have to come out your shell, especially at events, and be super proactive. We know it's easy for us because we're marketing people and we love this. We do this in our sleep. But I think for founders, they need to really come out of their shell and, know the culture, especially in the US or in Europe, and really speak the language in these conferences, speak the talk and be out there, be creative, be out there. And I think it's a great way to sell and to get new customers on board.
Yeah. And then again, and another thing, yes, when you're just starting out and you're too I was brought in very early, it's just like amazing to my two founders and the VCs that supported, to get an experienced marketing person in the beginning. I think it's not nice to have. You see, this is a profession and expertise. Yeah, I know that I don't need to convince you, but a lot of times, you know what we get? Marketing, everyone can do it.
Right.
Guys, guess what? You can't.
Right. No, I agree. That's like a whole different a whole different workshop. But I have to say, and this is something I always give credit to Itzik and Adam, is that they brought in marketing in the very beginning. I say this to all our founders that at the end of the day, you need to bring in marketing from the very beginning. Is one of those, marketing and HR, in my opinion, are the two, big things you need to bring in as you're one of your first hires. And that's something I've seen as someone who's worked in VCs for 6 years and someone who's come from the startup industry and has done this before a few times. But again, I think we have a lot of practical tips. I will be happy if you could send me the presentation if you don't mind, and I can PDF it if that's okay. Or you PDF it and I'll send it to our founders. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it. I know we had a fashla, as they say in Israel, this afternoon with Zoom, but again, it was out of our control. Like a lot of things. So thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Of course, thank you for your time. It's late.
It was great. It's fine. Thank you. Bye.